Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is deadline day still. We're here with an update. I am Paul Machin. I've got Declan Carr and Steve Hall with me in the studio for this one. We are live over on YouTube right now. For those of you joining us on Twitter, this will end momentarily. Just head over to youtube.com/the Redmen TV and join us for the rest of the show. We're going to be wrapping up what's going on with Nat Phillips. In fact, we're going to be talking a little bit more about this, the incredible social post that AFC Bournemouth have put out, which is basically just a video of him watching him Cruyff turning Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Yeah, great. We'll do a little bit more on the move from Nat Phillips to Bournemouth, what Liverpool are going to get in return and what it means for the rest of the business today. We've got an update on Fabio Carvalho and Liverpool's pursuit of the Fulham 19-year-old as well. And we're going to talk about some of the big points happening around the Premier League and world footy as well, because why not? It's deadline day. Let's dive in with all the fun. That will continue live right now for everyone already on YouTube, but if you're on Twitter, head over to YouTube right now to carry on watching the show. Steve, we'll start with Nat Phillips. It's done, it's dusted. According to Emma Sanders, our good friend, Liverpool defender Nat Phillips completed a loan to Bournemouth until the end of the season. Liverpool receive a loan fee of 1.5 million plus an additional $250,000 if they get promoted. Phillips was a target for several Premier League clubs, including Newcastle, Leicester and Burnley. It's a bit mad that we've rejected bids going back to like the summer. We've kept hold of Nat Phillips. It was quite clear Liverpool didn't want to loan him out. Not only have they made the decision to loan him out, they've loaned him out to the Championship, which I think is a bit weird.
I think Neil Jones said this, didn't he, on Jane Owens? Like, the problem that Phillips had is that he's on everyone's list, but he's not been top of anyone's list. Yeah. So it's got to deadline day. Liverpool have thought maybe we can get X amount for him. That wasn't coming. So you referenced Newcastle. Well, Dan Burns going to Newcastle. He looks like he's arrived for his medical and stuff. So I think what's happened is they've gone, right, okay, then rather than just keeping Nat sat on ice, he's not going to play a game really, unless, touch wood, something really bad happens over the next few months. They can bank 1.5 million quid. They get this, what was it, 250 grand bonus if Bournemouth get promoted, which which very much could happen as well. And then they can sell him in the summer again if they need to. So essentially, if the bids weren't there, Liverpool are almost getting 1.5 million for him now. Hope he has a good end of the season. Yeah. And then you get that money in the summer anyway, because Liverpool were clever when obviously in the previous one when nothing happened, they give him a new contract. So the assets protected almost. It's not like we're going to lose one of free in the summer. So I think it's bonkers that a Premier League team didn't come in for him. I think he's very much a Premier League quality player. If you look at some of the players who were getting signed today and have moved around stuff, I think Phillips is good enough to play in the league. But it's a great signing for Bournemouth. Mm-hmm. What I get for him, and I suppose from his point of view, is he's going to play every game. So if he does go to a Premier League side, and again, what's the point of going to another Premier League side to sit on their bench if that was the case? So he'll go to Bournemouth and he'll play. It makes it. I get it from his point of view. He's made no. He's been honest, hasn't he? I want to play. I'm not here to sit on the bench. Yeah. So I get the point of it. I think there should be a few chairmen of Premier League sides looking at their sporting directors or managers or going like, why didn't we do that? Yeah. Why haven't we done that deal? Because that's potentially a bargain deal for somebody.
It feels a little bit like they were on the phone over Nico Williams and they've gone, yeah, he's not really that arsed. And they've gone, have you got anyone else? And they've gone, Nat Phillips. And yeah, go on. I mean, it's nice to have the Bournemouth connection rebuilt. You know what I mean? We all thought that was dead and buried when they got relegated to the Championship. But it does feel a bit, it feels like a very... Yeah, that's what I mean. It feels like to me. It feels like an opportunism moment from Bournemouth. Like they were talking about Nico and they've just gone, actually, has anyone taken Nat Phillips or we'll have a punt? Because, to Steve's point, it feels mad that no one else has gone in, and that's been done really quickly. They've turned that round in pretty short notice.
Yeah, I think basically, like Steve said, he wasn't really going to get a game at Liverpool, and he's too good to be not getting a game, just sitting there, whereas probably his value depreciating a little bit if he doesn't get any games. So they've just thought, we'll have to send him on loan.
Yeah, and hopefully he has a good season, and although a good remainder of the season, of course. And there's a shortage of quality centre halves in world football, Steve. And maybe there's just a world where there'll be a number of clubs in that sort of bracket, whether it's top end Championship or bottom end Premier League or whatever. There should still be a market for Nat Phillips come the summer, and he's not going to do it. He's certainly, to the point. I think we did the right thing in just about. Liverpool have kept themselves secure this season while the lads have come back from injury. And actually, we used him just about enough. The fact that they're using that video of him, Cruyff and Zlatan, is testament to the shop window effect that Liverpool have kind of done there.
They had to do it because there was no guarantees how Virgil's knee was going to react at the start of the season. You go back to August, like Virgil could have played 3 games and then re-aggravated it, or like, you know, you've had such a long layoff that your hamstring goes or something. And so they had to do that. Look at Joe Gomez, for example, the form or lack of we've had with Joe Gomez. He suffered by not playing, I think. He needs games, if he's not getting a kick, then with all due respect to Nat Phillips, he's going to get nowhere near it, again, unless something happens. So I do wonder if he was going to Watford, Nat Phillips, until, again, surprisingly, Watford sacked their manager, which, again, they've got previous to doing that. So I actually think on today, Liverpool have come out all right of it. They're going to get 1.5, potentially 1.75 million quid, and Nat Phillips will return in the summer, and then they can sell him then. I think that's what the plan should be, and it makes sense. Like I say, he'll play. The good thing for him is, he's not going to the Premier League. He'll play every game for Bournemouth. I'm sure he'll do well. I'm just looking at I'm looking at the bottom half of the Premier League, going, why didn't you make this? But like I say, there was talk of Burnley. Well, unless Tarkowski or me go, then he's not first choice for those two. You wouldn't think that. Why is Sean Dyche going to move away from that duo now? Newcastle, I think he's better than some of the ones they've got. So maybe that was an option. Again, Watford with the managerial change, that probably put pay to that.
I get the thing for Eddie Howe, because Nat Phillips is not really what he's looking for. You know what I mean? And maybe he should be, and maybe that's something that will come back to haunt Newcastle, because the idea of Newcastle trying to play their way out of relegation scraps, I've seen plenty of football clubs try to do it. And there's a reason, and maybe look, I hope he actually does succeed, because it'll be a win for football. But there's a reason why, like, Sam Allardyce and co come in for relegation fights.
It's why Watford have just signed Roy Hodgson. Like, yes. They're going to try and do the dog it way. Listen, Newcastle are signing Dan Burn, and Dan Burn's a good player. So, like, again, maybe they're just thinking we'd rather do that deal than this deal. Yeah, I think all things considered, considering how opposed Liverpool were to a loan, for them to do it today is essentially them saying, you know what, there's 1.75 million quid just knocking about. Yeah. Why are we going to reject? Why are we turning our nose up at 1.75 million quid that we can just have? There's just money in the bank that we can just have, because this lad, touch wood, is never going to have to play if he does. I saw James Pearce report they're going to keep Reece Williams around now. So the break glass emergency now is 5th choice, 6th choice, whatever he is, Reece Williams, which he's not as good as Nat Phillips. He's nowhere near as good yet. But if we got to a point where Phillips was playing, shit's hit the fan anyway, hadn't it?
It looks to me, Dech, like the mission for this season is never to let ourselves be caught as short as we were last year. Not just in defence as well, by the way. the signing of Diaz, the fact that there doesn't look like there's any movement on any of other lads going out. Minamino doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Origi doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Liverpool are going to have, in inverted commas, too many players but for now and the end of the season, and they're clearly not arsed. There's no dire moves to get things out. Actually, I'd say that maybe Phillips is part of that. Maybe they have just shoved him out because they've left themselves in this situation. But it does look like Liverpool are trying to make sure they've got contingency plans just in terms of bodies, and that's why they're happy for Reece Williams to come back in and not send them back out on loan.
Yeah, and I think obviously we've probably learned from what happened last year.
Yeah, hope so.
We certainly hope so. But I think a lot of it just comes down to clubs not being as interested in these players maybe as we thought they might be. Like, we spoke about Origi on the morning show and stuff, and it's like, maybe he's happy with this role he's got, or maybe it's just like clubs aren't willing to take the risk of him coming and being the first choice and maybe still getting only the same amount of goals he gets, say, for Liverpool coming off the bench. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's Crossbow with the super chat here saying, good move for Nat Dini, and hope we get Carvalho done. I mean, that's the thing. Everyone wishes Nat Phillips all the best here, because he's a brilliant lad. He bailed us out of the shit in a huge way last season. I think he won us all over. I think he surprised a lot of us in terms of his overall quality. So yeah, and he's taken one for the team this first half of the season. So yeah, all the best. We should really have just let him have whatever move he wanted, really. Oh, there's my legs. Joe!
The sedge falls a bit.
It's a good job there wasn't like anything going on underneath there.
Imagine you were like a newsreader in shorts. You're going to have to come in the shot, Joe. It's fine. Let's just fix this.
There's a bit of Joe.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he should very much have just. We'll try and pretend this is fine. It's all fine. That was Joe, everyone. Yeah, he did whatever movie he wanted, really.
Yeah, he deserves to play. At the end of the day, he deserves to be playing first team football rather than sitting and rotting on maybe Liverpool's bench, maybe not even in the bench.
I was going to say, he'd been lucky to get on the bench. That's the thing, is it? Like, I think Liverpool actually played this one well. They haven't just sold him on the cheap. Because I bet Bournemouth would have said, yeah, here's £4 million, you can have him. And like Liverpool have gone, no, we'll get the loan fee, and if he plays well, and if Bournemouth come up, they'll want him back. Yeah. And then there's a fee involved there. If he absolutely bombs it at Bournemouth, then he was never worth that money anyway. So Liverpool are gambling actually a little bit on Nat Phillips. Mm-hmm. They think Nat Phillips is good enough to earn them a bigger transfer fee in the summer. And listen, when you said won people over, 100%, I think you're right on that. That's the point there, is that he did. Like I said, like a couple of weeks ago, given how bad, and I don't mean this long term, but like my thoughts on Joe Gomez are he looks miles off it fitness-wise, rhythm-wise. Like if you had to throw someone into a league game last week, I'd have put Phillips in before, because Gomez looks that far off it in terms of like rhythm and stuff. Phillips, you can just drop in and at least he plays. Mm-hmm. Where Gomez needs games and games and games. It's going to be hard for him to get them. So Nat was never ever going to get them. So yeah, I'm happy for everyone involved. And like I say, fingers crossed he goes there and does well. And from a purely selfish Liverpool point of view, if he does, it just means more dough in the summer, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll catch up on the more Liverpool stuff in a minute. We'll talk Fabio Carvalho in a moment, but some deals that we know have been done so far. The Athletic report on Tottenham Hotspur have signed Juventus forward Dejan Kulusevski on loan from, as I mentioned, from Juventus until the end of the 22-23 season. Wow, that's a big old loan, that, isn't it?
A good old 18 month
loan. They pay $3 million this season. They're paying $7 million for next, and they can sign him for $35 million. This is all euros, by the way. In 2023, if the phrasing is certain sport and goals are met, but they can also sign him without that. But I presume the fee goes up then, maybe.
That's interesting. So honestly, I'd never heard of him. He's 21 years old, though. I think he struggled to really have an impact at Juve. But obviously, there's plenty more to come there. Just looking at his 21-22 stats so far: 27 appearances, 2 goals, 3 assists. He's played less than 1,000 minutes, though, which is not. I mean, like, to the point. I think Oxlade-Chamberlain's played about 1,300 for us, and he's been very much, the utility. I
think I'm right in saying, and correct me wrong there, Tottenham's new sporting director in the summer came from Juventus, didn't he?
Yeah,
so so he obviously knows the player, so yeah, it makes sense to them. Listen, Conte's got into Spurs and gone, this is an absolute shit show. I need lads out and I need lads in. So if he's bombing out Dele Alli and he's dumping them on the lads next door, and Ndombele got rid of him, didn't want him. He's doing the changes he wanted. I think he knew there wasn't going to be tons and tons of money, but I think we know Conte, like he's ruthless. I want this and I'm going to get it now. I think he put a lot of pressure on Daniel Levy. We didn't help him because we obviously went and signed maybe their number one target in Luis Diaz. All the best with that one, lads. And I spoke earlier, by the way, on and something I don't know if you're aware of. Aaron from Pacino Gennaro told me like the difference with the two deals were Porto thought that the add-ons that we included are more realistic, like Champions League and playing games and stuff, where Spurs included all them, but there's no guarantee on Spurs doing anything, is there? So I think that's the problem Spurs have found themselves in, is that it's easy to attack players when you're winning things. When you're going for a bit of a slump like they are, loans, young players, gambles might be what you've got to go and do. Yeah,
just interesting is looking at his stats from last season. Played left mid, centre mid, right mid, attacking mid, second striker, left wing, right wing, and centre forward.
That's a champ man signing, that's your fifth sub on champ man. We've got 9 subs these days. 100%. Get a lad who can just do everything. What I'm in.
Without a doubt, interesting one then for Tottenham. One of the ones we've kind of alluded to it. Spurs midfielder moving to the Dele Alli. Moved to Everton from Tottenham, agreed. This is via our good mate Toffee TV. Set to be an initial transfer with Everton paying 10 million once he's played 20 games, 2.5-year deal. I mean, I'm saying it's for Toffee TV, source Matt Law. But they've done really well. They've done exactly what we were doing in that situation. Well done. At least they've credited him, which I very nearly didn't.
Hit those numbers, lads.
Fabrizio Romano was tweeting just an hour ago. Done deal. Here we go. Full agreement reached with Tottenham. Permanent move subject to medical in the next few hours. It's done. Frank Lampard wanted Dele after Van der Beek. Official announcement later today. We were chatting to the Toffee TV boys a little earlier, Steve, and they said it's very Everton business, that is, to buy yet another number 10 to fit in when who's buying just to hoover up some number 10 so they can't all play in the same team. Bit mad.
From a team above you who you're trying to catch, who thinks he's crap. See Alex Iwobi, see Morgan Schneiderlin, see
Theo Walcott.
We've been down this road before for them. Like, again, the fall of Dele Alli, there's going to be a documentary about it at some point, because he's gone from like the next big thing to getting loaned. We're getting free transfer to Everton in what, a couple of years, like.
Well, remember there was a point where we were discussing him and Barkley being the two shining lights of English football.
Mate,
the Zidane and whatever, and the new Gerrard of English football.
He was a guarantee first choice for England. He was like, there was talk like £100 million player when other teams wanted him. If you'd have offered me Dele Alli, what, 2018, 27, like, I'd have bit your hand off. I was saying like he had a bit of Steven Gerrard in him, like he had that bit of gnarl. He was scoring goals for fun, wasn't he? Arriving late in the box, scoring goals, and it's just gone.
He's a very good footballer, isn't he? I mean, he's got something there, and the problem is that this move feels a little worrisome if you care about such things. And as we were chatting earlier, most people don't worry about Everton's plight in any way, shape or form. I worry for the mental health of my friends who support them as much as anything. This feels like Everton doing more of the same. Go and get a lad who's more likely to be a bellend than necessarily to be a competent, consistent footballer for them.
Yeah, I think Ali's a tough one, and he's showing obviously.
You're just choking on your rage at the idea of me not wanting the death of Everton Football
Club. I mean, it would be. I'm not gonna lie, it'd be great to see them relegated for like a season, not too long, because they'd missed the derby a bit too much.
Yeah.
But it would be funny just to laugh. Know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Just like imagine the City, it'd be hilarious. But and like you made you a blue.
We'd end up a bit like Newcastle, though. I worry, but carry on.
Yeah, but. They'll probably will stay up with. I think Lampard, I'll actually give them credit for once. I think Lampard was probably the most exciting managerial appointment out of the choices that have been mentioned anyway, that they could have made.
Yeah.
I think ultimately,
is that like just choosing what's the best type of shit to stand in?
Potentially, yeah. But I think
like,
at least he's got like an attacking philosophy, and he'll have contacts in the game where he can bring in, like, obviously maybe not in this window, they've sort of only appointed him today, so he'd have to probably panic and bring targets in on like a very, very tight.
2 loans, aren't he?
Yeah,
well, it's free transfer.
Ali can't be alone, kind of, because the Benitez kind of aka Agent Rafa, shall we say, fucked him over a little bit, didn't he, by bringing in was it El Ghazi on loan when he was literally departing like
the day before he left. He brought El Ghazi on.
Oh, the best part is though, they sold arguably the best player in Zinye, and they knew they were probably going to be sacking a manager like less than a week later. It just screams of a lack of like ideas, a lack of planning, and it just probably shows you where Everton are right now. The same with United in a way. Like, they just sort of sign these players for big money who don't necessarily fit the system. Like, look at Sancho.
Like Donny van der Beek, who's now
look at Van der Beek, look at Sancho. I'd argue Varane hasn't even really had the impact that he was meant to have when he come in. But, yeah, it just shows. Like, I'm just happy Liverpool aren't run like them 2 clubs that we've mentioned, really.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't know where he plays for Everton. Like, what's he going to do? Like, Dele Alli, it's odd. And Van der Beek, because, like, they're both the same. That's what.
Yeah,
both,
they're like
where
the same role.
One of them. It's weird.
It depends what formation he's going to play, doesn't it? I mean, they could do worse because they've got a severe lack of quality in that midfield.
Yeah, it's crap.
And having just a little bit more youth, a bit more energy, and some more skill on the ball. The fact that Andre Gomez was playing, and I thought Andre Gomez was a terrific player, but he's not been right since that injury. And just getting someone, a couple of lads who are good on the ball. The thing is, I have no idea what Van der Beek is. I bet Man United fans have got no idea what he is.
Van der Beek, who they signed, was a really good sign. Van der Beek, he hasn't played. Again, there's reasons why.
Is this the new Davy Klaassen? Is this what this is?
It very well could be. Yeah. It feels like it doesn't. And Dele Alli could be anything. Like, I see the point of Everton. Dele Alli's a gamble, because basically, if you've got 19 games to fit, if you think he's any good, and if he's not, like he just never plays that 20 if you never pay a fee for him and someone else can have him. I suppose that's the risk. It's one of those. They couldn't loan him. I think they want to loan him again. Rafa didn't do them no favours with El Ghazi, and obviously the Van der Beek loan as well. It baffles me that. But again, I think Declan's right to reference there. The manager's come in today. Like, he's come in and gone, what do I need now? Yeah. Just for the short term. Dele Alli's not like a long term like planning. It is what it is. So they've had to do something.
Well, we mentioned it. The idea that he's got to play 20 games for 10 million quid or whatever. It's a bit.
The fall from grace is just phenomenal. Like I say, one day there's going to be a documentary, and I can't wait to watch it. Just the rise and fall of Dele Alli.
But the rise, not even really the rise and fall of Everton, because they didn't really rise far. But like to think that they weren't too dissimilar to the Newcastle situation. Having all being the Mersey millionaires or billionaires, and having having the war chest unlocked, and they've just frittered it on nothing.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it?
It's mad. Speaking of having no money, over to Barcelona, David Ornstein of The Athletic, exclusive Barcelona-Arsenal talks for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang loan have broken down over salary. 32-year-old returning to London from what's said to have been a family trip to the Spanish city. Unless Barca find major money, it's off. They're mad, aren't they? There's a lot of people they're still getting linked with all kinds of players, and people, it's like they haven't up this. No one's told the sub-editors at all these papers and websites that Barcelona have got no money, and they're going to have even less money in the summer when it comes around to it. The fact that they have to convince existing players to take pay cuts and sign new deals on them just so they can afford to register lads that they've signed for, for minimal amounts of money. It would be mad, because Aubameyang doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who's going to take a significant pay cut for any sort of reason.
No, I think he's done another winging himself. Just turned up there, no it went through. Because otherwise, why would you go unless you knew it was literally
a family holiday?
Yeah, well, we'll check how many bags he's taken with him. That's what we need to see.
I think we need to go down and test and check if he's actually got a house there or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think personally he's probably done another winging.
Someone go and check the contents of his man drawer at home, and if it's empty, he's defo gone to Barca on the hope that it's all going to go through.
If it smacks the
if there's no USB drawer full of random mismatched USB wires and dead batteries, then we know he was committed to the move.
I wonder why. I wonder what the amount that Barca are willing to pay him was. He's on a fortune at Arsenal. Yeah. Like, Arsenal just want him out the building. So if I'm Arsenal, I'd just say, just have him. Like, give us like X amount a week. Like,
well, that's what they've been doing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So
this was the kind of thing with Callum Chambers as well, wasn't it? That was kind of how that deal came about. They were just like, go ahead.
Yeah. And I think with like, the issue is the wage. Barca can't match his wage now, so he was never going to join them on a transfer, because why the hell would you? Why would you cancel a massive wedge on Arsenal to go there? But if Barca could have went like, we'll pay like 10% of his wages, and if I'm Arsenal, I'd be like, you know what, just do it. We don't want him anywhere near us. He's too much hassle. The manager's probably getting sick of answering questions about him. Get him out the gaff. But yeah, I mean, I suppose in theory there's a pride thing to it. Like, if you're seen to be accepting like a 5%, 10% of your best captain, your former captain's wages, when you give him that mega money deal that they were all crying for him to get. Again,
Arsenal are paying the price. I spoke about this on the LFC TV press box the other day, and it's like the lingering. In fact, anyway, it doesn't matter. It was a lingering era of how do you cope with Arsene Wenger leaving, and they doubled down on big name footballers to try and get them through the short term without thinking what happens in a couple of years' time when these lads all are past their prime and on ludicrous wages. And this is funny, by the way, it's a very cautionary tale. Barcelona and Arsenal, cautionary tales for people who are just saying, just pay Mane and Salah whatever they want, and Firmino whatever they want, because, and look, their attitudes are well better than some of the lads that we've seen it go wrong for. But you can have that happen where all of a sudden you've got a lad on £250,000 a week, and he's not able to give you that level of value to your team anymore. No, it's true.
One thing I will say, I don't think that I'll just put out there, and if I'm wrong, come for me, whatever. Me Twitter at DeclanCar96, so tweet me if I'm wrong. But I don't think Salah is going to decline like that. I think he's still in like his peak physical condition. His attitude second to none. So I don't think it's going to go.
No, I agree. I mean,
but I get it,
but it's again to the point. It's a cautionary tale.
Aubameyang was great, Aubameyang, how good was Aubameyang for a while before he got that contract? So shit can happen, can't it?
But it does. But that's the thing. When you start throwing those ways, you have to be sure. And Salah's as good a sure thing as you're likely to find, of course. And Mane as well. Like I say, attitude is the most important thing for Liverpool in that regard, and we know we've got good ones in that. But you can see it go other ways. Look at what Arsenal had to do. Look at what ends up happening to Sanchez, and look what happens to Özil being the biggest one. It's like £500,000 a week they had to write off.
Yeah. Bit of an Arsenal thing, and it really, they've had, like as you say, Sanchez, Ozil and Aubameyang all sign these big money deals and then all turn to absolute shite.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott Hawke sent a super chat in. Thank you so much, Scott, you hero. Fingers crossed for Carvalho, but still a good window. Hopefully a bit of respite from the more hysterical Reds. Today's super chat add-on terms completed. Cheers, YWA. Thank you so much, Scott. Of course, he put the initial payment down of $37.5 dollars earlier on today, and he's gone for his add-ons there. So thank you so much, Scott. That's great. It is, and that's my point about I'm kind of making this around the Carvalho stuff, is that I promise we'll talk about him in a sec. We can't get ourselves too down. It's like that. It's like the and next. Just being the and now. For a little bit, Liverpool have done a great thing. We haven't even seen Diaz play. We haven't even seen him play for Liverpool yet. If they get Carvalho done, then great. But if not, Liverpool have done the business. Particularly if we don't lose Origi, I think, and if we don't lose Nico, although that's still a possibility as well, I guess. But
he's the only one in here really you can see going out now. On the Carvalho stuff, like you said.
Just a couple two quick ones before we do. On Newcastle, because obviously they're fascinating, aren't they? Newcastle back in for Jesse Lingard, but still no financial agreement in place with Man United, which is also crackers that United, given the amount of money that they spunk up the wall on footballers' wages particularly, that they can't just say to Jesse Lingard, who's given them all those years of service and been completely bombed out of their team, having been so important only a couple of years ago, that they don't just go on mate, just go on mate, go and have a bit of a go and restart your career is not, and I wondered if it is a lot to do with the fact that they just go, well, we're Newcastle and someone who doesn't really know what to do and just goes, Newcastle got loads of money, let's make them give us loads of money, instead of realising that, let's be honest, Jesse Lingard should be a free transfer. I think it's a bit mad. You mentioned it before, Dan Burn has arrived for his medical there as well. Matty Target signed already.
Good story, Dan Burn as well, and he's a local lad. I think apparently I've been seeing. I don't know.
Newcastle let him go. Then he's a kid or something.
Yeah, apparently he's like he's done gone full circle or whatever they say. Yeah, and he've missed out on his Etikite. Probably made at that. The young French striker. Apparently he's decided for his career he doesn't want to go yet to Newcastle. He might go in the summer apparently, but I want to bring highlights onto one transfer though. Weghorst to Burnley. I think that's a great move as a Chris Wood replacement.
Mm-hmm. I love the announcement video of the Jurassic Park. That was class, by the way. So I don't know if you watched this. So it's the water flickering and then with the dinosaur. If anyone's going to sign a 6'6" big lump of a striker who scored goals, it was Burnley. To be fair to them, if he does well, he's got the opportunity to be better, an improvement on Chris Wood. Obviously, it's a gamble because they haven't got the Premier League experience and all that kind of stuff. But what they've done essentially, they just went and replaced one big groch by another big groch, and that's fine for Burnley. And again, the winning, I don't know if anyone can let us know in the comments so far, but announcements video of the day so far goes to Burnley. Nat Phillips doing a Cruyff turn and watching himself do a Cruyff turn.
That's close second probably.
It is around there as well, but I mean the days of the amazing social day, there was a peak 2 or 3 years ago where it was it was really popping off.
Some great videos.
It's not as good now, but Burnley have done a well.
Loads of people were mad about the Diaz one, weren't they? They were just like, oh, is that it? But what are you meant to when the fella's in Argentina? Do you know what I mean?
Standing in front of a green screen.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really do much.
Actually, one more move I want to discuss because I think this is a proper throwback. As a child of the 90s, Aaron Ramsey from Juventus to Rangers, according to Fabrizio Romano, done deal and here we go. Agreement on loan with buy option. Ramsey will sign in the coming hours. Rangers will cover part of Ramsey's salary. So a lot of people, and I overheard it from the office before, and I was like, oh, that's mad. And then went, it's a pure Rangers sign, old school Rangers. I think Paul Gascoigne joined them in the 90s. I think Brian Laudrup being one of the big ones.
Top players.
Yeah, exactly. And Ramsey, I mean, I guess it's a lot of people, because everyone loves to banter the Arsenal thing, and there'll be a lot of people turning the nose up and sneering at that, and like, oh, look what he's done, blah, blah, blah. From a Rangers perspective, that's a phenomenal piece of business.
It's absurd, really. And apparently there was, I saw again, it might have updated since, apparently he was sat at an airport in the middle of in the Midlands this morning, deciding where he wants to go. He had 3 or 4 offers. Funny enough, I think Burnley, we referenced before, were one of them. He's going to go. Rangers win more often than not. There's a very good chance he goes and wins a title. So why wouldn't you just go and give it a little whirl, give it a go and see how it pops off? But you're right. It's pure retro sign, and that one I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, then if you're just joining us, Nat Phillips has joined AFC Bournemouth on loan until the end of the season. Liverpool tweeting out a good luck Nat tweet earlier on when that deal was confirmed. We've already seen him watching a video of him Cruyffing Zlatan as their announcement video, which, as far as short, simple, sweet, perfection, the AFC Bournemouth social team have nailed that one there. But the one we've kind of been waiting on really for the rest of the day, and it's mad that this is where we've come to. I mean, Fabio Carvalho still not done. Steve, I'm glad Luis Diaz is boxed because I could have foreseen us being in this situation without Diaz. Like 2 or 3 days ago, coming in on deadline day, no word of Diaz happening at all. Carvalho was the one seemed most likely. We could be in this situation, worrying about completing a deal for a 19-year-old kid from the Championship. Instead, if we get it done, for me, it's a sprinkling on top of what Liverpool have done rather than anything essential.
I hope to get it. Again, I spoke earlier, obviously, to Peter, who was the Fulham correspondent for The Athletic on Redmen Plus, and he basically said Fulham are adamant he is not going now. The only way it's going to happen is if that loan thing comes, because basically a push for promotion is worth more than them than it is the fee. You know what I mean? Like a £5 million fee, what they're going to probably get off Liverpool agreed with a loan back makes sense. From a Liverpool point of view, it looks like Liverpool are keen not to end up in a tribunal because then you don't know what's going to cost you. It could cost you anything because it's up to like a panel and all that kind of stuff. So it's fascinating to see where we're at with it. Again, I don't think any of it comes down to money really, unless Fulham are saying like, again, I saw reports that Fulham are putting the price up to like up anywhere around 15 million quid or whatever, in which case Liverpool aren't going to do it. I wouldn't think they're going to do that. I think they will just take their chances on the tribunal or trying to get him whatever they can get.
Well, the talk, Deck, is that, and we heard a little bit of this early on in the day, that Liverpool, if they don't get it done, they'll walk away. And we got a tweet here from Kevin Palmer, who's been the one who's been talking most about this on social media. Fulham insisting they want to keep Carvalho to the end of the season, and Liverpool have already agreed to that condition. So it will come down to the player and his advisors to make the final decision. I'm seeing a lot of talk there about like it's up to the player now to try and make this happen and I think I feel like Liverpool are briefing that they just, if they can't get it done now, they won't bother because they're not going to get sucked into the feeding frenzy in the summer for them. They'll want to have a reasonable fee. They want to have a good relationship with Fulham, give them a little bit of what they want, but they're not going to pay through the nose.
Yeah, I think it comes down to two things. I think obviously the later and later we get and we're hearing nothing, I don't think it's going to happen. But also, I think neither side want to get burned again by a tribunal because I think Liverpool felt like they paid a bit too much for Harvey Elliott. I think they want to pay something like 750k. They ended up paying 4.3 million, which is a record for a 16-year-old to a tribunal. But Fulham wanted more. They felt like he was worth more, like 8 million, I think. Mm-hmm. And Scott Parker was, when he was the Fulham manager, obviously was quite vocal about his disdain for the small price that he saw it as.
Yeah.
So I think like both sides don't want to get burned by a tribunal and let it go to that. But Fulham also don't want to lose him.
Yeah, it feels like it still feels very possible, this one, Steve.
I think it was final push was Kevin Palmer's latest work, wasn't he? He said Liverpool are going to try and make a final push for it. Listen, it is what it is. Like, Liverpool, it's not going to be the end of the world. I mean, again, I say this now, in 5 years' time, someone will clip this video up when he's scoring like hat-tricks for like Real Madrid or something.
Or he's going 80 mil or something.
Yeah, but, and who knows? But like, this, to me, it looks like, again, it's more of a sign of opportunity than like a desperation. Like, Liverpool have saw this 19-year-old kid who they think could be really, really good, and they've sensed an opportunity to try and go and get him. And if they can get him, they will. And if they don't, well, it is what it is. I agree with you. Like, without the Diaz thing, it'd have been more disappointing than it is. Maybe that's helping us all out a bit. I'm hoping it does go through from everything. Again, on the show referenced earlier, there's only good things said about the kid, and like I say, he's 19. There's tons of room to grow. Let's make it a year. The track record of developing players under this coaching staff is absolutely ridiculous, phenomenal. Even like worst case is even if he's not very good, and we'll sell him for a profit. More than likely, or at least get your dough back. Yeah. Absolute worst. So I'm hoping it does go through. Like I say, as it stands, it's almost like it feels Brinksmanshipy. Like, what are Fulham willing to do? Mm-hmm. Are you willing to get to the end of the season and then just lose them, and then the tribunal fee could be whatever it is?
Well, that's one of the things that was mentioned earlier, is that the tribunal fee, if a European club goes for them, will be much, much lower.
It's how Rangers keep getting. Rangers and Celtic take advantage. It can be like £500,000 if they move out of England. That's why Scottish teams benefit from this quite often. They end up signing young kids from other English teams. So yeah, like I get Fulham's point of view. There's no way they'll sell them now and say off you go, because they've got a promotion to get in. Mm-hmm. I know they're well clear of third place in the championship, but who knows? Like one losing a key player out your team can derail you. So my sense is Liverpool are going to try and do the buy. You can keep him on loan. We'll have him in the summer deal, and I can't really see a reason for Fulham not to accept that, if I'm honest, other than maybe a bit of spite out of the Harvey Elliott stuff.
Yeah, it's entirely possible, isn't it? Right, we're going to take some final comments and super chats from you guys in a second. We just want to draw attention to the content that we've got for you guys right now over on Redmen Plus. Steve actually did a stat show a couple of weeks ago looking at how Luis Diaz stacks up and where he's likely to fit in at Liverpool. So if you want to know more about Liverpool's new signing, do that. Chris is also doing a stat show this week, doing some comparisons and looking a bit about Carvalho as well. You also did 2 journo insights today, Steve.
Been busy boy, haven't I?
Yep, spoke to Porto journalist Aaron Barton to discuss Luis Diaz, and you also spoke to Peter Rutzler about Fabio Carvalho.
I did, yeah. So obviously, Aaron, I want to get the Porto point of view on this because this happens to Porto quite a lot, doesn't it? When they lose players and stuff, and what the general sense around it, wasn't it? Basically, if you go over and watch it, but essentially there's a lot of financial issues at Porto. That's probably the reason why they've had to let him go now, which we all know about. And then speaking to Peter about Carvalho, he loves him, says he's brilliant. Like there's no way Fulham want to. There's a reason why Fulham was digging their heels in here. The flip side is there's a reason the player hasn't signed the contract as well. Like, he doesn't see his long-term future at Fulham. So I advise, like I say, go over and check both shows out because they are really, really good. Yeah,
we've got that for you guys now. And because we are celebrating the signing of Luis Diaz, we are giving away a completely free month of Redmen Plus. All you've got to do is go over there, join as a club captain. There's 2 tiers. Club captain is the low tier that gets you access to all of the content in video and in podcast form, and use the code DIAZ, DIAZ, all caps, and that'll give you a free month to try it out. Get all the Diaz content, get the Carvalho content, and also get our weekly content, which is pre and post game stuff, of course, leading up to the weekend and the return of the mighty Reds. But also there's a little matter of a League Cup final on the horizon. We've got a premium podcast series coming. We've got a special documentary on the first of the treble, a great story looking back at that, like getting Liverpool player recollections from the day, and loads of other brilliant stuff, including a documentary on the craftsman of the Kop, a man who makes banners, some of the biggest and best known banners that ever to grace the Kop in recent years. There's a guide to the murals that are around Anfield, so if you want to get closer to Liverpool Football Club in all aspects, the code Diaz will let you do it free for an entire month. The link will be in the description, but just go to the redmentv.com and say sign up and get that. Loads of people have jumped on it the last couple of days, which I'm made up with, and everyone, the feedback on it's been tremendous. So if you want a streaming service just for Liverpool fans, a bit like Netflix for Reds, then you head over to Redmen Plus. Right, we had a super chat. It was from Robin Hood. Wonder where he got that money from. It amazes me why other clubs don't put enough weight on a player's character. Our transfer success is based on quality skills with exceptional mindset.
100%, absolutely 1,000,000%. It's one of the things that Liverpool do. And do you remember Ryan Lowe speaking to us when he was the Plymouth manager? We've done a loan report about who belonged to Plymouth.
Adam Lewis.
And he basically said we've got a no dickheads rule.
Yeah.
Now Liverpool have got a no dickheads rule. Like if you we don't sign you. Yeah. We are not taking a gamble on a poor character. Again, lads next door. I don't know Dele Alli's situation, whether it's character or whatever. There is 0% that's a sign Liverpool would make. For whatever reason, he would never have gone near Aubameyang now. You know, things like that. We just do not take gambles on it. And you're absolutely right. The Robin Hood, by the way, via I don't know, Robin. Who does Robin Hood rob again?
From the rich.
The rich.
To give to the poor. Thanks so much for that.
Are we poor?
Not anymore.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Here's Robin.
And now he's going to take it back and we'll just take it out to some other channel. Yeah, maybe that's how it works.
You're going to super chat someone else. No, but I'm 100% with you. Like, there is so much more to it than watching our lad kicks a ball around the pitch. There is so much more. I 100% agree.
Yeah, it is. It's not just about like individuals, it's how people fit into the collective. There's great stories in Ralph Honigstein's book, Bring the Noise, about him, and he talks about like Jürgen liking to kind of look in the whites of the eyes of the man in front of him, engage them as a character. He talked about like the Mario Götze thing, you know, back in the day, about not wanting guys who are prepared to push the train to get it running, not wanting to jump on it when it's already in motion, and that gets an underrated value, because I think a lot of us play FIFA or Footy Manager or whatever, and we want to see the certain stars. There's not many of us who wouldn't have had a pop at Aubameyang at any point in the last 3 or 4 years, just because he's a goal scoring forward. But you can see there's a reason why he's the kind of guy who's spitting his dummy out, and Liverpool have got a great squad unity.
Yeah, I think, as you say, it all comes down to Klopp really, and the coaching staff that he's got around him. Like Ryan Lowe said, they don't want any dickheads.
Yeah, no, and nor should they, because it's something that creeps into the mentality. If you say, well, this guy's really good, so we'll let him get away with it, There's a reason Sakho got binned off for Liverpool. We carried worse centre halves for a bit. You know what I mean? Our lad's just as good as Sakho, but Klopp felt that his attitude wasn't worth putting up with in the squad.
Yeah, I think, as you say, it's all down to attitudes, and I think like all the lads that are in the squad right now seem quite humble and quite chill, like really sound lads.
I get it.
Even like the new lads, like say like Kanate, he seems dead down to earth and that.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a reason Jürgen gets on the what. He said that he FaceTime Diaz. Yeah. There's reasons, like he talks. They do the background, and rightly so, because you don't get burnt, especially when you're spending the kind of money that Liverpool want to throw about.
Absolutely. So yeah, plenty of things happening around deadline day. If anything breaks later on, rest assured we will have it covered for you. Nico Williams likely to stay at Liverpool, which I'm not too disheartened about, but having just another good right back to understudy Trent's not going to hurt us for another half of a season, certainly. And I say Fabio Carvalho still rumbling on, not dead yet. The deadline day ends and the window shuts 11 p.m. tonight, so there may yet be another twist to that tale. And as I say, make sure you check out our content over on Redmen Plus, completely free for a month, because let's keep the good Luis Diaz vibes going. Also, by the way, I need to point out that, because I forgot to do this earlier, and it's really, really good, there is also a Luis Diaz t-shirt available right now on redmenmerch.com. The merch team have been working round the clock to get the t-shirt out. There's two designs. There's one with his face on, and there's one without his face on. And yeah, not exactly groundbreaking stuff, but if you want a Luis Diaz t-shirt, then get yourself boxed with one right now on redmenmerch.com. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy your afternoon. Try not to watch too much Sky Sports News, it'll rot your brain. But yeah, also do check out the amazing stuff we're doing on Redmen Plus. Check out the t-shirts, all that good stuff. Or otherwise, just have a good time with yourself. Got to pass the time somehow, and there's only so much of the
now the table's for fill your boots, mate.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. You're amazing. Thank you so much to Declan, to Steve, and to you guys watching us live as well. You guys are absolutely amazing. Up the Reds and up and down, and good riddance to transfer. I don't even know what I'm saying. Transfer deadline, they can get in the bin unless we're going to sign Fabio Carvalho. But yeah, we'll see you all soon. Ta-ra. Hey, if you want to get your name here and be a club legend like so many have so far, join up to Redmen Plus. You get an incredible range of Liverpool content. Our Netflix for Liverpool fans style services there for you, documentaries, features and interviews. And yes, we also have the club legend here. So if you want to go a bit deeper, get a deeper connection with us and with Liverpool Football Club as well, then sign up to the redmentv.com. Redmen Plus at a club legend tier, and there's loads of extra bonus perks for you as well. Check it out.